Hello, good morning. My name is Hiral Bajareja. Today my topic is Shakespeare Reborn, Maqbool, Omkara, Haider, and the Enduring Tragedy. This is my academic information. This is table of content. My research question is that how does the adaptation of Shakespeare and tragedies in Indian cinema, specifically through two works of Vishal Bhardwaj, successfully bridge linguistic and cultural gaps while retaining the original play's universal themes of power, conflict, and human emotion? Vishal Bhardwaj cinematic adaptation are successful precisely because they utilize the localized social, political, and cultural milieu of Indian. For example, the Mumbai underworld in Maqbool and the Kashmir conflict in Haider, to ground the universal human conflict inherent in the tragedies, effectively translating the linguistic medium into a visually compelling and contextually relevant experience for the Indian audiences. This is my introduction. Shakespeare plays address universal themes such as ambitions, jealousy, and power, making them relevant across time and culture. In Indian cinema, Vishal Bhardwaj reimagines this tragedy through socio-political context in Maqbool, Omkara, and Haider. His adaptation highlights how Shakespeare's dramatic essence resonates within Indian realities while retaining global significance. Shakespeare enduring legacy, universal appeal. Shakespeare's vision of life dealing with the themes of jealousy, ambitions, and power is universally applicable, allowing his works to transcend barriers of time and culture. A long history, the adaptation of Shakespeare plays into Indian cinema and theatre is a tradition as old as Indian cinema itself. The author approaches contemporary Indian filmmakers, notably Vishal Bhardwaj, have rejuvenated Shakespeare's artistic soul by giving the works an Indian author touch. Focus the cinematic strategies used the localized Shakespeare core tragedies for the Indian audiences, focusing on the celebrated trilogy by Vishal Bhardwaj. Vishal Bhardwaj, the man who Indianized the bard. Bhardwaj is celebrated for rejuvenating Shakespeare's artistic soul by touching in with their author. Bhardwaj method, localization, moves the setting away from generalized location to specific regional context like Kashmir, rural Uttar Pradesh, and Mumbai underworld. Music and dialogue. As a renowned composer, Bhardwaj uses music not just as entertainment but as a crucial narrative tool to express inner turmoil and atmosphere. Political relevance, unlike simple remakes, his adaptation used the Shakespearean framework to comment on contemporary Indian socio-political issue, adding depth and urgency. The challenge of adaptation, linguistic and cultural translation. Adaptation involves more than simply changing the language. It requires transforming the cultural codes and historical context, overcoming the gaps. Visual medium. The processing involves translating linguistic medium into a visual medium. The Indian milieu success lies in situating the original conflict into specific Indian socio-political and cultural setting to make it relatable and contemporary. Example of Vishal Bhardwaj trilogy. Shakespearean play Macbeth, Othello, and Hamlet, and Indian film adaptation Maqbool, Omkara, and Haider. Setting Maqbool set Mumbai underworld, Omkara rural Uttar Pradesh, and Haider insurgency hit Kashmir. Central themes retain Maqbool theme ambition, betrayal, guilt, and Omkara's theme jealousy, race, and manipulation, and Haider themes revenge, madness, and political instability. Maqbool and ambition, corruption. Original play Macbeth. Key adaptation: Witches as a professed. The three witches are adapted in two corrupt policemen, Purohit and Pandit. Lady Macbeth adapt as Nimi, retains her powerful ambitions, driving Maqbool to murder the underworld boss Abaji. Atmosphere, the visual medium effectively captures to pursue pervasive atmosphere to deceit and moral decay within the confines of the Mumbai mafia. Soliloquy to monologue. The classic soliloquies are transformed into inner turmoil expressed through powerful dramatic monologues and cinematic sequences. Omkara, Serpent of Jealousy, original play or Othello. Caste and social hierarchy, the conflict in contextualized not around race but around caste and social power dynamics in rural North India. Lagos Langda Tyagi, Lagos Veleni is translated through Langda Tyagi, whose motivation is rooted up in professional resentment and bitter revenge after being overlooked for promotions. Uh, Desdemona is Dolly portrayed as a symbol of purity and rebellion, and dialect and authenticity. The use of the local Avdi dialect rounds the narrative lending authenticity to the raw, violent setting. Haider, a political revenge drama. Original play Hamlet. Key adaptation The Ghost. Haider's father appearance is handled through the mysteries. Appearance of a long lost uncle, and later the ghost like presence of the father's associated setting as a character in Kashmir, madness and sanity. Heather's madness is a dialect response to and reflection the actual trauma and chaos engulfing the rain. Thematic translation. Themes are power, authority, fate, prophecy, and language words and tragedy conflict. And Shakespearean context and Indian cinematic translation. Conclusion. Vishal Bhardwaj Shakespearean Trilogy confirms the hypothesis that successful cinematic adaptation hinges on deep cultural and political recontextualization rather than a literal translation. By situating universal human flaws like ambition, jealousy, and the desire for revenge within a specific Indian values, such as Kashmir conflict in Haider or the caste dynamics of rural UP in Omkara. Learning outcomes. This is my references. Thank you so much. If you any question, please ask me.
So, Hiralba, what major changes does the film Omkar makes to the central racial conflict of Shakespeare's Othello to localize the theme of the Indian audience?
Uh, the conflict is recontextualized from one based on the race to the based on caste and social power dynamics in rural North India. And anyone?
So, Hiralba, my question is besides you using localized setting, what specific narrative elements does Vishal Bhardwaj use to add depth and urgency to his adaptations?
Bhardwaj uses the Shakespearean framework to comments on contemporary Indian socio-political issues. Thank you so much. This is for my side.